Thought about this moment, this day, all week long. Thought about how to talk to y'all. This isn't about leaving, okay? It's about something that we're going through and things that have been brought up to my attention for this past week. This has been a soul-searching week for sure. It has been brought to my attention that I've been pretty hard on you guys. Amen. And not hard enough on others. It's been brought up to my attention that I've been kind of angry, hurtful, and so I need to address that, and the first thing I need to do is apologize. With all the things, Brenda said, you're not going to cry. Of all the things that are taking place probably in the last year, thank you, dear, has created a tension within me that I never really recognized until some wonderful people have come to me and talked to me about it. So, I'm going to say this first. You're leaving. Slap him. It's okay. Brittany and I are separated. Yes. This isn't something that's just like a knee-jerk thing or an angry thing. It's something that we've talked about for several years. It comes down to a lot of fundamental issues or problems or foundations of our life that just never matched. And those who have been very, very close to me understand that. We pulled it together and held on till the kids got to the point where they're pointing in a direction. And then we came to the conclusion that our goal is peace. Whatever that looks like, we don't know. We want peace. She moved to, got a place in Fort Worth, and we've talked with the kids about this. And of course, kids respond the way you expect them to the beginning. But then they've really rallied together and have been very good about this. This is a mutual thing. This is something we've talked through. We've and the reason people say, well, why didn't she go to Italy with you? Well, there's your reason. We had tried to find a place for her, and she found a place, and Natalie helped her find a place, and so it's been a mutual thing. But nonetheless, it's one of those things that that's a real struggle for all of us, and we don't know. We're taking it like a major timeout and see where this goes, and the odds of our staying together, I don't think, are very good. But nonetheless, it is where we are together. But we're working together. You know, we have an incredible couple in this church who have gone through this, and they have remained best friends and come and worship at the 11 o'clock service. Our goal is to do this in a way that's very healthy, to understand that, you know, in life, these things happen. You try the best that you can, your ability to hold on and keep things together. And if it doesn't work, then we need to kind of continue to work through that the best possible way and the most healthy way to do that. And so it is mounted to that. And I think a lot of my anger comes from not just that, but it has been taken out on you. And I apologize for that. And I ask for your forgiveness for that. But when I really look down and start to really evaluate where all this really comes from, a lot of it even comes back to over a year ago when Eric died. That really was a downside for me. Eric was my son, and I know he just lived with us, but we took him in, we loved him, we did everything we possibly can while his parents stayed in Africa. We did all we can to get his life back together, and then when I went up to take him to school and watching him die on the football field, and I just do what I always do. I do the things that nobody wants to do, which is what I'm capable of doing. And that's to take care of Eric when he's there, to take him to the ER and yell at his face while he's on the gurney and run in the halls and yelling at God that, God, you've messed this one up. And then have to take care of his body and take care of his belongings at the school, and then take care of the football team and talk to them through this whole process. And always doing something, and then have to settle things down there, and then come here and deal with a family that's just torn apart. They've lost a son, they've lost a brother. And I just do what I constantly do. I don't think about it, I just do it. And having to deal with the people leaving in Africa to make sure this community comes in and we can celebrate his life, and burying his body here because his parents didn't want to take him anywhere else. And it's just one thing that leads to another and then to the next event. But what I carry with me that I never really realized was this tremendous sense of guilt. That he was on my watch. He was entrusted to me by a lot of people, and I let him down. I let him die. I've let a lot of people, his family, our family, the community in Shadman down. And I carry that with me. And I never really realized it until I sat down this week and started thinking through all this and where I've been and who I am and where I need to be. So for all of that, it comes down onto you, and someone's got to take it. My dogs are too big to kick. They'll bite back. But y'all just sit there. So it's easy. And so that I'm sorry. Apologize. So from that, where do we go? Well, I need your help. I've resurrected a lot of people in my life that I've held on to for support, for encouragement, and a whole bunch of accountability. And talked with those people endlessly this entire week. And they will continue to be that for me, the inner part of help me through whatever I'm going through and keep me in track and in line. The bottom line is this, folks. I've been here for 20-something years now. I don't even know the number, just say something. And I love this church. And I love the people of this congregation. And I have not been good to y'all in a lot of ways. And I've had a lot of expressions of that.
Chocolate Hills, everything.
Here. Thank you, brother.
You know we love you a bunch.
Thank you. There's just a lot of things that's going on. We feel it. We know it. We've got this building thing that we can't seem to get our hands around. And it's causing a lot of friction, a lot of turmoil. We're taking things personally. And that's just not good. Somehow, some way, we have to really figure out what is in the best interest of God's kingdom in the direction that this church is going. And the bottom line is this, folks, and I don't think this is an argument. We've got to get younger. Have you seen me? Right? It's like when Shannon came out and says, you know, I'm gay. And they go, what? And he goes, have you seen me? We are what we are, right? But we have to. And that's just the bottom line. And that's just something that churches aren't good at doing unless they do a complete overhaul, wipe one down and start another. But I would hate the thought of doing that for one reason. The biggest reason of all. That those of you who have been a part in the faith for your entire lives or most of your life, y'all are a treasure chest of faith, of hope, of mercy, of compassion. Inside of you is this big bucket of goodness. And outside of these walls are people who are looking for exactly the same thing that you have. And somehow we've got to pull it out of each and every one of us and be able to share it. I can't imagine doing anything without you. The reason this church is the way that it is, the way that we've survived for the years, the way that we do the things that we do, the maturity that we have in this church is because of you. And all those folks out there, they're afraid. They're not afraid of you. They're afraid of the concept of church, of what it represents, of what they see on TV, of what they hear about in the community, of what they may have experienced when they've gone into places that didn't treat them right. But y'all have the greatest treasure that this earth has to offer. And it comes from gracious God, and you know it. You've been through the wars. You've been through the battles. You've been where I'm at right now. And you've either separated, divorced, or you pulled it together and you made it work. There are literally thousands of people in our community who are looking for what you have. And y'all can do this. We can do this together. Now, this little slide that I put up there, you know, and these aren't negative terms. Don't take them as negative. The division line that we have within the life of our world is not about young and old. It's about insiders and outsiders. Those of us who were raised in the church, I've been in it since the 9th grade, maybe 10th grade, and those who are on the outside. You know, back in the day, when Danny Bruce was a kid, shortly after the resurrection of Jesus Christ, there was a large amount of insiders in the life of the church. And the insiders in the life of the church was 80%, and outsiders were 20%. Today it's flopped. There are more of them than there are of us. And so the process that we have to go through is how can we reach those on the outside? Now, let's stick with this theme of insiders and outsiders. Those of us who are more outsiders, think of people on the outside. I grew up in the streets. I grew up in a horrible home. Right? My heart, my passion are those who do not have what we have. And for those of us who have lived in this church and part of the good community and had solid families who are insiders, your passion, your integrity is about holding on and caring for one another and loving people and serving each other and doing the things that we need to do to be nurtured as a body of Christ. We need those two things to work together. You follow me so far? So for the insiders, this is what I need from you, is I need a lot of help. We need to continue to nurture each other. We need to continue to look deep within our hearts and our souls and find those things that God placed in us, to look back at your experiences of life and say, God, how did we hold on to that? How did we become the person that we've become? How did we do that? And you will find God standing you and pushing you and pulling you all the way through that process, and then you name that God has helped us through that time. That is what faith is. We need to reach out more, not just to each other, but also those who have been brought into the life of the church, who do not have those experiences. So for the outsiders, those who are more aware of the needs of those, is to seek people to bring them in. I left the house this morning. I have an 18-year-old boy and an 18-year-old girl and a 2-week-old baby upstairs sleeping. It's the sister of the 17-year-old who lives in another bedroom in our house. Well, my house now. Follow me? They have been kicked out. Their mother is on crack in Oklahoma, not a good place to go. Father is on his 5th wife, girlfriend. They have a 16-year-old in that house who's pregnant. They have another child and another sister with their child and boyfriend that's living there. So it's a 3-4 bedroom house and about 4 families living there. And it's just chaos. Where does my heart go? It goes to them. Where will they go? Who will turn to them? I understand that because I feel that because I was that. But I also know how important it was when someone grabbed me and brought me inside the church, that people of your faith and your nurture and your maturity took me in and sat with me and held on to me and wouldn't let me go and invited me in their homes. That, my friends, is what transforms people's lives. It's those relationships that we build with people that we don't even know. And they didn't judge me one time. They knew what I was doing. I was not a good kid. But they loved me like I was their own. And that's what we need to do. That's what you can do. That's what we have to do. We have to think about those on the outside and those who are gifted in understanding it, to bring them into a safe environment where as soon as they walk in the door, they're not just greeted, but also say, come sit with me. My name is Billy Bruce. Sit with me, and let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing in worship today. Where are you from? Where you live? What do you do for a living? Tell me about yourself. Hey, let's go get some lunch today. You see how that relationship starts? People come in like this because the church does not have a good image in the community. And as soon as we reach out to them and sit with them and talk with them and get interested in them, they go down. How important is that? For a person who's on the outside coming in, it's critical. It's life and death. For insiders, we need to capture that spirit. We need to be aware that we do need to get younger, and it's not by the gimmicks or whatever we do. It's about how we share our lives with those who are scared. And take the first step, take the initial step to be there for that person, to invite them to sit with us, to talk with them, to get to know them, to take them to lunch, to be their friend. Jaron Wilson is amazing at that. I don't know how he does it, but that's what he does. But I think he's more of an outsider who understands the value of the inside. I'm an outsider that understands the value of you. I know what you mean to me. I know what you mean to my kids. You know, Natalie, when she graduated from high school, she had a party. It was all adults. And she made a picture and she put it on Facebook. These are my support. Now, Natalie's a weird person. She turned out a fantastic kid in our environment, in spite of me being their father. She is off the charts. But she also understands the value of insiders. And that is who you are. And you have got to help me, because I can't do this on my own. And there's nothing more I want to do than bring those kids into a church environment where as soon as they walked in, they are loved, they are cared for, they're showed attention, they're sat down with you and talking with you and entertaining you and having a good time with you, and then going off to lunch to get to know you. You cannot put a price tag on that, folks. That is how we have to transform our church to being younger. So we have to understand a few things before we have an opportunity to get there. And it's not easy. It's stressful. Read the article today. There will be ups, there'll be downs. We'll be rubbing against each other. But we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to do the best thing that God needs us to do. I want to make a promise to you. I promise I will change. I'm not afraid to change. But I promise I will be more sensitive, more encouraging, less discouraging. I promise that I will continue to move in the direction and the path that God is trying to lead. I know why I'm here. God has led me to a place that says we need to get younger. There are people in my community I want to send you. Find me a place that is safe for them to be found. And we have to create that place for God's people. Because I truly believe God is calling us to do that. God wants to send us a lot of people with a lot of issues and a lot of needs. And you know what? You have them. You've had those issues, you've had those needs, but you also have the wisdom, you have the faith, you have the maturity. You have what they are looking for, you have what they need. And they need that. We can do it. And I think we will do it. So I promise you, I will change. I will be more encouraging, more uplifting. But also make this promise to you. I'm not going to try to wipe out a generation to bring in another one. Okay? I think that's illegal, for one. Okay? I'm not well versed in criminal law. But I will push you to open up that treasure chest that's inside you. Just big. And you have things that people need. And this we can do. I thought I'd write down a few things so I wouldn't forget stuff. I'm sure I did. But if you have questions for me, ask them. If you're afraid of the big old bear, then there's a lot of people that can answer them for you. If you're an elder, please stand up. These people love the church, and they love you. They even love me. If you can't talk to me, if you don't have questions, talk to them. Ask as many questions as you want. They can bridge the gap if there's one that's there between us. Thank you, guys. I would ask for questions, but I'm afraid you'd give them. But if you want to do it more individually. I'm wearing purple. I wore my purple. Everyone's entitled to some bad moments, I'm telling you right now. Doesn't change your colors. Well, people, I can't be more sincere than I am right now. Even Brenda said, "Don't you dare cry." But this is who we are, you know. You know, I did that sermon on the Tower of Babel. And, yeah, I know. And the person who is responsible for building that tower was a man named Nimrod. Put that last slide on. Nimrod. Do you remember him? That's a nickname, right? Now, he was a guy who was a great builder for God, by the way. Fantastic guy, one of God's big leaders. He just got carried away. He lost his focus. He decided, you know what? I'm doing so well. We're doing so great. We'll build our own little tower and we'll be God. We don't need a God. We'll be God. Right? Wrong decision. That man over there in the piano, Albert, sent me an email, and there's a society that's called, it's a musical society called Nimrod, based on that same thing. And it's a composer and a mentor, and the mentor was lost. And how that came about is that he went to his mentor and he says, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going through all this. I'm going through all that. And the advice to him was this: keep doing it. Keep plugging away. Keep going after it. Don't stop, because in the midst of all your struggles and your hardships, that is where you write your best material. And you will come out on top once you do that. And even the stuff that he composed during those times are being used even today throughout England. It's a Nimrod movement. So it's taken a word that was used at me by my dad to remind me I was a knucklehead, and use it into a word where I'm at today, and that we all get in our life. We have those moments and we just want to quit. And Nimrod says, nah, you keep going. You keep doing. You rely on people of faith. You rely on your peers. You rely on those who hold you accountable, support you, encourage you. You'll get through this, and you will know that on the other side, it'll be the best material you could ever have. And you will grow and you mature in your faith more than you ever realized. That's another word for resurrection in my mind. So when we gather together, this is all we're doing is confessing that, hey, I have my faults, I have my flaws, but when we come together, we become our strength. And we're reminded of the very same thing at this table, that no matter who we are, what we are, God loves us unconditionally. And God chooses us, of all things, to do even greater things than his son, Jesus Christ, was capable of doing. That's crazy. We're all Nimrods. But around this table, we're God's people. We're one. We're gathered together to be the body of Jesus Christ. We're going to prepare ourselves for this table. We're going to sing. That will get us ready for that time that we can share this together. Let us sing.